Welcome to Public Report. I'm Marcelle Camille. Today we're going to take a look at teenage girl health issues. We'll specifically touch bases with drinking issues, obesity, anorexia, and bulimia. We have an expert with us who lectures and authors in reference to teen girl issues. I'd like to welcome Gina Guddat to the program. Welcome, Gina.
Thank you.
Can you share with us a little bit about how your role really intertwines with girls' health issues?
Well, I am the mother of 3 teenage daughters, and I've been working with girls for about 12 years. So I've had the privilege of traveling across the country and working with large groups in churches and schools and camps and different clubs, from cheerleaders to the Salvation Army groups, and looking at really a consistency of the same issues in the East, in the South, Midwest, and over here where we are. So there's a lot of the same issues, and unfortunately they're not getting better quickly. Matter of fact, with the economy now, we even have more stress put on families and girls, that we might be seeing some other types of behaviors that are worrisome.
Okay, well, I just recently ran across an article in the paper that spoke about underage drinking and drugs becoming an alarming problem. In here, they basically share that most or more than 60% of our youth before reaching high school actually drink. Have you found any information concerning drinking and drugs in our youth that is alarming?
Yes, I am seeing a lot more. It used to be that we thought that was the boys doing the drinking before the football or after the football games, but now we have more girls drinking than boys. And of course they have the smaller body stature, less water in their body, and women are actually made differently. Females, we don't have the same enzyme in our stomach lining to actually metabolize alcohol like men do, and people don't realize that. But it causes there to be more of a problem in teen girls and in women with alcohol, and so there can be devastating health concerns regarding the alcohol and the drinking and what's going on right now.
Okay, do you find that some of it is somewhat hereditary or passed down through generations?
There is a genetic component. We're pretty sure that there's definitely a genetic component in alcoholism. We see it go down family lines when we draw genograms, and we can see it go many generations back. But as a developmental stage with teenagers, they are just apt, because of where they're at, to try many, many things, even outside the scope of what might be considered normal for their family line. And so we will see even the best kids from the best families trying drugs and alcohol during this time of their life. And 2/3, I would even say it may be higher than 60%.
My goodness.
It definitely reaches an all-time high in the college years. So
they even mentioned that most children take their first drink before the age, of 11 and 13. That was astounding.
Yep, and girls are a little bit more creative. They don't do the big beer kegs as much. I mean, some do, but they get creative and fancy with their drinks, actually. So it's a whole culture.
Well, are there some solutions that we have in place for our youth or our girls that may be, drinking?
I think there's a deterrent in the schools that they've done well to put some guidelines as far as athletes go. If any of these kids are caught, even if it's not on the school grounds, not during school hours, or even a school activity at another site off-site, caught at all drinking or doing drugs, they are thrown off the team. So that is a deterrent, especially for some of these athletes that really want scholarships. They want a letter in certain sports, and girls too. We've got girls tennis and soccer and girls golfing, volleyball, fast pitch. There's a lot of incentive for girls to stay clean and stay in a good group. So
I noticed that there's some vulnerability to a girl who is drinking, and at such an early age. Can you share some of those vulnerabilities so that our audience is really aware?
Yeah, well, obviously when you're under the influence, your inhibitions are down, and so we have a greater chance of these girls experiencing date rape. There's violence in relationships that come up. There are obviously risks with drinking and driving, or even being a passenger in a car with someone who is drinking, even if they aren't. There's many things that can happen.
And for those that are responsible for the youth, and you know, if the drinking happens or occurs on your property, all the youth that drunk something, if they get in an accident, the parents or the owners of that property are liable.
And generally that's what happens is when the parents go away for a weekend or an evening, because they have to find somewhere. They're going to find somewhere to have those parties. So we do have to be very careful as parents. We have to ask a lot of questions and set up some good guidelines, because yeah, we would be liable.
Okay, well, something else that's really kind of, you know, been in the news, we've got the bulimia, the anorexia, we've got, you know, obesity. What have you seen as an expert in the field concerning some of those issues?
Well, girls are very Hollywood-driven. The more time that teenagers spend reading fashion magazines, the more apt they are to feel poorly about their own body image. So we have a diet addiction in our culture for all of us, men, women, and especially teenagers. So Hollywood's not getting, they're getting thinner and thinner, right? And so that's going to continue to be something that's right up front in the faces of our teen girls, and particularly middle school. This kicks in, and we see about, well, they say 1 in 100 for anorexia, a little bit more for bulimia, but by the time they're college age, it's 1 in 4 will have an eating disorder of some type. So this is continuing to be, it's a coping mechanism, it's a way of being accepted and a way of controlling something in their life where they feel like they can, you know, measure up to their peers. And we will continue, I'm sure, to see anorexia, bulimia, and also cigarette smoking, which is, of course, we know can be an appetite suppressant. And that is on the rise. Interestingly enough, teenage smoking is not going down. Adult smoking has, with all the different programs we have for adults and the patch and that, but teen smoking has been very consistent. Matter of fact, if you talk to adults today, the majority of them started when they were teenagers. Again, middle school and high school, before they graduate, is the tobacco use starting, and girls are equal to guys right now for smoking.
Let's go back to the body image issues. What can a girl do to have a better outlook on herself?
Exercise is key. I've always found that if they're not involved in something, if they're not an athlete, we can get them involved in other things. We group aerobic classes, fitness, kickboxing. Maybe they like ice skating, rollerblading, even swimming laps. A lot of the gyms today, I don't know if you've noticed, are offering memberships for teens. And I will go in the afternoon after school and see a lot of teen girls working out and lifting weights. And that's not competitive. You don't have to win or lose the soccer game, right? And so it's less threatening. And that goes a long way to creating good, healthy body image instead of the excessive dieting.
Okay. Now, if we have a friend who's involved in bulimia or anorexic behavior, what do you suggest we do as friends?